You 2K, Mike?
Yeah. This isn't where this was it?
Yeah. Well, I keep thinking, like, maybe we should move it that way, closer, like, so there's internet.
No, you moved this already, didn't you?
It used to be not. It used to face that way, straight across the street. I catty-cornered it.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Let me walk back so I can get some internet connection so I can pull up my list.
Mm-hmm. If anybody is out there watching, you are tuned into a live broadcast of the Survival Punk podcast, starring James, the Survival Punk, and me, Couch Potato Mike. You can check out more of me at youtube.com/couchpotatomike. I also have a website, couchpotatomike.com, that I don't know how to access right now, but all my videos get automatically posted there. So go to youtube.com/couchpotatomike. Also, if you're needing a little something extra to keep you mellow, to get you centered, if you need an appetite enhancer or a way to sleep better at night, try Moonwalker products. Moonwalker, that's Moonwalker without the E in the er. So that's MOONWALKR.com, moonwalker.com, for a wide variety of CBD oils and edibles and Delta 8 products that really hit the spot. I myself partake of the Delta 8 gummies, and they really help me with mood stabilization and things of that nature. So go to moonwalker.com, and if you enter in the code CPMike, you get 10% off your order. What? I can't think of anything better. And this is James the Survival Punk. So let's get this show started. So, in 5, 4, 3.
Do you have a joke?
Oh, you want me to start with a joke?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Preparedness. Because those zombies won't fucking kill themselves.
Hey, this is James from SurvivalPunk.com.
And this is Couch Potato Mike. How the hell are you doing today, sir?
Great, yourself?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Somebody said hi, gents, to us.
Hello.
Person.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yep.
2 people. That's twice the number we normally get in here.
Yeah, and aren't you still one of them, though?
Possibly.
Ha 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 ha.
Possibly me one of them. Whatever. So, these live streams might get a bit better in the near future. Well, before we get to that, Mike, what's today's show about?
I have no clue. You didn't tell me.
And I'm not going to tell you next week either. Next week's going to be fun. So today's episode is about National Preparedness Month, which is September every year. Maybe one year I'll recreate what I did my first year of Survival Punk. Oh, hello, wife.
Ha!
MW and my wife. So, hi, Arya. My daughter's watching. So the first year I had Survival Punk, I went crazy. I remember, I'm sure you might remember me doing this.
Mm-hmm.
For National Preparedness Month, the first month that I had Survival Punk back in like 2012 or something, I reached out to like, I don't know, a few hundred companies, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, send me products. And Monday through Friday, so 5, 10, 15, 20, I had 20 prizes, and I gave out one prize a Monday through Friday every day of the month. Traffic was fucking huge.
People like free shit.
People like free shit. So I do have free shit to give out.
Really?
I'm still trying to figure out how to do the contest. Like, send me an email, jamessurvivalpunk.com. I'm giving out 2 free samples of Element hydration. You're a survivalist, you need your hydration.
Why don't you do it like the first person to email you the secret word wins that?
You know what? I like secret words. So I would appreciate if you shared either the video or the podcast, and you email me, jamessurvivalpunk.com. Email me
spelunking.
Yeah, sure. Email me spelunking.
It's just the first word that popped into my head.
Yeah. I was going to be like, can you tell me the name of the co-pilot from Top Gun in an email? You win a prize. Either if you get spelunking or that.
Oh,
And I got 2 to give out. So the
okay.
first 2 people.
And the winner of the other one will be the person who could correctly in the email tell us what year I predicted the world would change. Which means you have to have listened to the last episode of the Survival Punk podcast as well.
All right. So National Preparedness Month. So what is National Preparedness Month? You know what? It's a national holiday, month long, created by the government.
I thought I lived next door to a prepper for a while. Turns out he was just a hoarder.
Yeah. It's a stupid holiday created by the government, but we can use it for good. Not the greater good.
Mosquito.
You scared your poor puppy. So I believe National Preparedness Month was created by FEMA. It's created by FEMA. You can go to ready.gov. I'll have that link in there. They have stuff they talk about. Every survivalist that's worth their 2 cents is going to have something going on this month. And we'll talk about that a bit later. But if you want more information, everyone's got something going on for National Preparedness Month. I know the guys over at Mind for Survival are putting out a survival tip every month, so check them out. I'm gonna try to get those guys on the podcast. I'm gonna trying to get some pretty big names on the podcast in the near future. I miss having guests. You know what? And I heard someone say there's 2 trains of thoughts. Guests are either easier or a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, honestly, everything is either easier or pain in the ass. So if it can be easier in having a guest on the podcast in that they're doing at least half the work. If you just ask them some questions and let them talk about what they're passionate about, boom, it's pretty easy for you. Because, I mean, depending on who you are, I've had guests before provide me with the questions to ask the guests. And when I go on a podcast, there's a lot of times where I provide the questions. So literally all you have to do as the host of the podcast is ask the questions that were given to you by the guest and let the guest answer those questions and just sit back and have fun. I've had guests, me and Mike have had guests on the show that would not let us get a word in edgewise. Mm-hmm. We've had guests on the show that we had to drag kicking and fucking screaming. And we've had guests that were great. We've had guests that were just poor Paul Wheaton. Episode number 17.
Ah, yes.
Episode 17. Before we knew how to record guest podcast interviews, we recorded Paul just coming out of the audio in the speakers of the laptop. It was horrible. Paul's like, yeah, I don't know if I should promote this since you can't hear me. And I spent 6 hours editing that podcast to try to bring the levels up. It was a nightmare. So he was try this program called Pamela. I got Pamela. And it worked for a long time until it didn't work. And it no longer does work. So I went on the hunt to find new software. And I'm still kind of working on it. I have some things. I need to test it. If you would like to be on Survival Punk Podcast, drop us an email. James
at survivalpunk.com.
Yes. And you know what? You can leave a voicemail. And I don't have the number pulled up right now. Our internet is not great. And I don't have a laptop anymore. That's why we record outside on my phone. But Mike doesn't know this yet. The internet may be improving real soon.
Really?
So I have T-Mobile internet, and every once in a while I contact them about when I'll have service, T-Mobile service, at my home. They said this last time that I asked them that they're doing tower upgrades. The upgrade should be completed at the far out date of September 16th.
Wow.
And at that point, I should have 5G internet at the house and could be able to get T-Mobile's home internet of over 160 times faster than our internet.
That would be fucking awesome.
Yes, in which case I would swap to T-Mobile internet, and it'd be great too to have my cell phone service at home. So I'd have home internet that didn't suck. And I'm sure Mike also would drop AT&T drop it like it's hot.
Like a bad fucking habit. They keep raising their damn rates and they
Right.
still have shitty service.
Right. And that's terrible. Like, so man, y'all pray for me. I would love to have fast internet and be able to have better streams. Like, the quality of the stream is probably not great.
No. And if you want me to be a guest on your podcast, contact me at couchpotatogiveaway@gmail.com. Spelled exactly how it's spelled.
Yeah. So let's start out this. So we're gonna kind of split the podcast into like two real categories. I know that recent events, I won't name those names, but recent events, and there's been a lot of recent events. I feel like there's a lot of history going on. Recent events have really pushed a lot of people into being preppers. The field is much bigger than it has been. When I got into prepping back in like 2008, no, not because of the recession, for dumb reasons. When I got into prepping, it was still kind of like
Tinfoil hatters?
Tinfoil hat, like kind of frowned upon.
The end is nigh!
Yes. And like everyone was kind of hush hush. There's still some hush hush people. Like, man, I'll get it. I won't even talk about that. But I feel like it's a lot more open now. Like, everyone that saw the supply shortages that happened and are still happening, and everyone that saw the riots that have been happening and all the other stuff that has been happening, has kind of starting to get on board. Like, especially I feel like people are more open to common sense prepping than they used to be.
Yeah, they're tired of getting laughed at by everybody living in Montana and the Mormons.
Right. So starting out for beginners, like, I like to preach sort of like very like middle of the road, like basic prepper stuff. My number one tip always, it's called copy canning. So this is Mike, what's an example of something you buy from the store that is shelf stable from the middle aisles?
Oh yeah, from the middle aisles, I often buy cans of pork and beans.
Pork and beans, excellent example. So Mike, on example, do you know how many cans of pork and beans you eat a week? Like, is it a once or twice a week meal?
Once or twice a week. But I know what you're going for with copy canning.
So Mike goes to the store this week, and he knows this week he's going to eat 1 or 2 cans of pork and beans. Guaranteed to eat 1 or 2 cans of pork and beans. He eats 1 or 2 cans of pork and beans every week. He goes to the store. He buys 4 cans of pork and beans.
They're
which is
cheap.
Like, what, $1, like 60 extra maybe?
Well, yeah, no, where I shop and get my beans at, 1 can of those is like 78 cents, something like that. So
like $1.40.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's spending about $1.40
just
extra.
Double it up.
Which is completely negligible.
Right. But you see, here's the kicker, all right? It's not just buying those extra cans. It's buying them and then not using them. Like, if you need, say I need 2 cans of pork and beans a week, I buy 4 cans. Just an extra, $1 and change, right?
The next week, he goes back to the store.
Right. I don't use those those extra 2 cans the following week. No, I go back and buy my 2 plus another 2. Guess what? That's prepping. That is having the extra stuff there when you don't need it for the times when you do.
Right. And he spends an extra like $1.40 a week. He does this for like, say, 4 weeks. He does it for like a month. So at that point he has what, 6 extra cans?
Well, think about it. For every week that you have it, you've now got an extra week's worth of that supply.
Right. And if you do
it for a year, you've got a year's worth of that supply.
At some point though, he needs to stop. Like, say he goes for a month and he gets 8 extra cans of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next month, he goes in the store and he buys something else he buys.
Right.
But he still buys his 2 cans of pork and beans he needs.
Like a good prepper thing, like, say, Spam. Or the generic equivalent, which will be cheaper and the exact same pretty much thing. Actually, I like some of the generics a lot better than the actual name brand.
Yeah, I generally tend to buy name brand or non-name brand, store brand, because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you do that for a while. You do that. One, you don't even notice it. Like,
right.
You start filling up your pantry. You get a deep pantry, so you have more stuff in your pantry. You're stocking up on it, and then, you go long enough, you have 30 days worth of pantry, which is more than like 99% of people.
And that's not hard to do.
It's not hard. We've established it's only $1.40. You could do more. Oh yeah, you could do more.
Oh yeah.
There's things I like to do called like $20 prep. You take $20 and you go spend $20 worth of prep out of food. Like, this is something that so my next prep that I'm going to get, I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm going to go to hardware. I'm going to get a bucket and a lid. So we'll say $5, right? Then I'm going to go and they have like muffin mixes for $1. Chocolate chip muffin mix, blueberry muffin mix, cornbread muffin mix. These for $1. I'm going to fill the bucket up with those mixes. It's not a long shelf life, but they're quick and easy. A lot of them are only add water. So you do that. It's not necessarily food I eat, but man, my kids would tear it up.
Oh yeah, you got to think about your family in a time like this.
Yeah. So $20 for prep. $20, like how many cases of bottled water can you buy with $20?
Oh my God.
Like four? Like 4 cases of 30 or so?
Depending on where you get it from, yeah, even more.
Yeah.
Like I know a place I get $3 for a case. I mean, for $20, I mean, with tax and everything, it's 6 cases.
Yeah. And let's say you go through, say, a case of water a week. You got like what, a couple weeks worth there? Almost a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you're like, oh, I don't drink bottled water. But if you live in like Mississippi right now, that bottled water is gold.
Oh yeah.
Their water's coming out black from the tap. So store your water. You know what? I drink a lot of tap water and I filter it. But I have bottled water too. So I have them both and I store bottled water. So, and that's in our prep, like to increase. Like one thing I'm thinking about doing is there's a natural spring down the street. I'm gonna start taking it into their bottles and storing that. And another big prep I'm thinking about doing is getting the kids together with a shovel and digging me a, what's that word?
A trench?
Nope.
Foxhole?
Nope.
A grave?
Think Wizard of the Oz. Storm shelter / root cellar.
Ah.
Yeah, I think the kids having me dig a root cellar, so I can.
You know, digging, that brings us to the couch potato survival tip of the week. And that is when you're foraging, you remember that old adage, leave no stone unturned. You could find amazing things under rocks and under the foliage. Protein, mushrooms, stuff like that. That's it. Continue.
Yeah, so next up, basics, like I have entire episodes, and maybe I'll link to some of them on like getting into prepping. You start saving money, you start copy canning, you get some water storage, you do all that. Next up is a blackout kit. Mike, you know what a blackout kit is?
A kit that you use when you're ready to have no electricity?
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Or that, what I just said, but in English?
Yes. It is 4 times when the power goes out. You can make this kit as big or as small as you want.
Are you talking about the thing with the batteries that you used to have?
No, that was my battery backup system. That's like next level. That's like, yeah. If you have the money to build one of those, like it'll be the best prep you build. Blackout kit. So how many people recently have experienced blackouts or brownouts? Raise your hands. Yeah.
Within the last 24 hours.
Multiple ones in the last 24 hours. I want to have a nickname for it, like the summer of like brownouts, like poop summer.
Well, brownout and a blackout are 2 different things. Blackout means complete lack of power. Brownout is basically when there's so much strain on the power grid, power supply or whatever, that it causes lower power to move through, and therefore parts of the grid get cut off because of it.
You know what? I got something. Every once in a while, like I hear stuff, and it's like a slap in the face. Like no one's thought about this. I told Mike something recently about bad eating habits being like Stockholm syndrome, and I'm like, that was literally a slap in the face. I was like I just stared at my phone screen for a while, just kind of dumbstruck.
Now, to clarify what he was saying by that, bad eating habits, you're on a diet or whatever, you're trying to be healthy, you're trying to lose weight, but you absolutely love, you adore cinnamon rolls, okay? And you know if you eat those cinnamon rolls that it's going to make you gain weight, it's going to make you be sluggish, it's going to make you feel like crap. It's completely unbeneficial to your health. It's the exact opposite of beneficial. It does everything bad to you, but you love them so much and you refuse to give them up. It's identifying with your captor. They have got you held captive, and you know they're bad for you, but you just can't stop eating them. Cinnamon rolls are one of my weaknesses.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'll buy, I mean, that's the thing. I was buying like a whole, like 8-pack of them from Aldi or whatever, and I would sit there and eat those, like all fucking 8 of them. Aldi has the best fucking cinnamon rolls.
thanks, Lane Reaper. And thanks for whoever gave us the thumbs up. I appreciate that.
Oh my God. First time I went to Golden Corral for a breakfast buffet and found out they had those big fucking gooey cinnamon rolls on the buffet. Oh, Jesus Christ. They might as well have just put a fucking gun to my head and blew my fucking brains out because I was going to sit there and just keep eating them.
Yeah.
Which I did.
I
was so bloated and full and not wanting to move and sick to my stomach by the time I fucking left because I ate like fucking 10 of those damn things.
I literally bet there's therapists that specialize in food
addiction, stuff like that.
I need to find this guy talking about Stockholm syndrome. I'll get him on the podcast and have him talk to you.
I'd love to get like a food therapist on here. If any of you are food therapists or know of a food therapist and you would like to be on the show, just contact us, james@survivalpunk.com.
I have an idea.
And if you'd like me to be a guest on your show,
I might get a therapist on here.
couchpotatogiveaway@gmail.com.
So the thing that I was thinking about was, so I think everyone's pretty well aware that our power grid is in shambles. Our power grid as a country and as a world is pretty lackluster. Like there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of blackouts. Like it's not primed for growth. It's not good to like expand things. Like it's being held together with duct tape and baling wire right now.
You know, there's 3 power grids in this country.
I do know. Texas has one of their own.
Yes, there's the East power grid, the West power grid, and the Texas power grid.
Right. So our power grid, even Texas power grid, is pretty much shit. Like the power grids in the U.S. are shit.
Well, when was the last time they were updated?
Who knows? Yeah. It's been a while.
They made them and then just let them sit there. What the fuck are you doing?
Here's my question to you, Mike.
Yeah.
So the power grid is like garbage, right? And it's not good for expansion. It's not very good. Like it can't handle a lot of loads. People in California California is telling them to set their thermostats to like 78 to try to take less power, to put less, demand on the grid, right?
Right.
In fact, people that have smart home thermostats, the companies lock them at 78 per the state. Yeah, get out of California. So the power grid is not able to handle the loads. In fact, the loads we have is too much on it, right?
What, for cooling?
For cooling, yeah, it was locked at 78.
That's not even cool.
No. So California was trying to ban gasoline cars by 3035. So if you put 10%
3035, they have a
2035.
I'm like, yeah, we should be out of gas by then.
What do you think putting 10% more electric cars being charged at homes will do to the power grid?
Oh, Jesus Christ. They're not thinking.
No.
Smack your button.
What button?
That button. You know, your big square button that holds the table in place.
Oh.
Thank you.
So blackout kit. Say you get a milk crate. Everyone has a milk crate. Or you get a little storage box. You put flashlights, batteries.
I went looking for milk crates a while back. That was an ordeal.
Yeah. So you put stuff in that, and then you make sure everyone in your family knows. Power goes out, you get this box. It's got flashlights. It's got, you get little kids. Maybe you put in coloring books and stuff. Like for my daughter, so that when the power goes out, she's like, "Oh, here's flashlights and here's the coloring book, and we can have fun or board games."
Yeah, because never forget, one of the biggest enemies you're going to have during a survival situation is boredom. Please bring something to entertain yourself with.
Candles. Maybe you have some like snackies in there.
Even if it's as fucking insignificant as like, say, a harmonica or whatever. Just something to entertain yourself with.
Right. So you get
We have books. We have lots of books.
And make sure you have light to read it with. So you just get everything in one spot. Like you probably have all that stuff. You have your flashlights in one. You have this. But if you get a blackout kit, everyone knows where it's at.
Just consolidate it in one location, preferably
it takes
with a
some
handle.
of the fear out of it.
Yeah.
Another great prep to have for these blackout times, you can get them from big box stores. I've seen them marketed as the Red Cross like night lights. What they are is, they're night lights that plug into your wall socket.
And they're charging while you have power. As soon as that power is gone, though, boom, they all turn on.
Right. So you can see to get to the bathroom and stuff.
Right. You can just have, like, if you have a hallway with several outlets, put one in each of them. That way you got running lights.
Yeah. If you got a little extra money to spend, but not quite as much money to get like to build your own battery backup system, you can get a computer UPS, uninterrupted power supply. You could plug in your computer, or you can plug in, say, a light and your router and something else. Like, it doesn't have a whole lot of power, but if you have like your light and like your internet modem router, your power goes off, your UPS kicks in, has enough power for, I don't know, a couple hours, and it'll run your router so you can use your cell phone that should be charged so you keep your internet.
It's making me think of that Kevin Smith's character in Live Free or Die Hard.
Oh,
He's like, I'm having to bust 4 generators just to stay online. When they're
Yeah.
like, we need to look for him. How are we going to find him in a blackout? He'll be the only one with power.
Yeah. Next up on National Preparedness, so we're moving along here. Look for deals this month. I may be sharing some deals. There's a lot of companies in the survival preparedness industry, and there's a lot of companies that know about it that are pushing almost Black Friday level deals right now to preppers. So,
Oh my God.
it's a good time to buy.
The place where we get our discount meat had fucking filet mignons in the bin yesterday morning, which are still too expensive, but they were like $17 for a 2-pack.
Man, I've gotten fillets from there for like $5 for a 2-pack.
Oh, see, if they had them for $5, there'd be fucking fillets in my fucking. Oh, yesterday I made my very first butter-basted steaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came out a perfect medium rare. They were sirloins.
Are you eating steak still?
No, I fixed those for the kids,
Oh,
but I was trying out my culinary practice.
dude.
I might eat steak later. Today is technically a minor cheat day for us. It's funny, we decided that on our cheat days, instead of going low calorie, we'll just have a keto cheat day. We're in rolls.
We haven't cheated, and we're not going to cheat until our vacation. And man, I can't freaking wait. Like,
I say it's our cheat day. We haven't cheated yet. I haven't eaten anything.
I'm officially down 100 pounds, which is
Bones, dude.
quite the accomplishment. I'm trying to end up at 115,
Well,
115 down.
Since I went back on the diet, I've already lost 5 pounds.
That's great.
Possibly more since that last weigh-in.
So yeah, look for deals. I'll try to share them. If you just look like National Preparedness Month deals, sales, you'll find some. I know a couple of my sponsors have them. I'm trying to weed through some of those sponsors. There's one that maybe I'm having trouble contacting with. And to be honest, when I look at it, I don't think I've sent them any customers. So yeah, I mean, if I was them, I'd say fuck you. So
Shit happens.
yeah.
Or doesn't happen, which is
Right.
what happens here.
So look for the deals, and I'll start sharing them. I'll have probably some in the show notes. If you go to survivalpunk.com, look at the show notes. I'll have maybe some deals in there. I'll have something in there.
Oh, yeah.
Take stock of your preps. This is a good time. So we're heading into the fall season. I like to do a fall, spring sort of prep assessment. In the ass to do, but it's good to do it occasionally to kind of take stock of what you got. Basically, I went through all of my preps. I wrote down what they were in like a composition notebook. Wrote down what they were, say peanut butter powder, the number of them, and the calories per entire container or containers. So at the end, and the total, I would total up all of the total calories that I had stored and divide that by, say, a 2,000 calorie a day diet to see how many days I had of 2,000 calories. And then I did, like, say, a 1,200 calorie, like, stretch mode, which you can then determine roughly, depending on everything you count in there, like how many days of calories you got.
Right.
And you can decide whether you want to count like fats and oils and stuff as part of your calories. Like if you're in like the North Pole and you're trying to hike to the center, they drink olive oil because it's the only way they can keep enough calories.
Yeah, they need like 5,000 calories a day to maintain their body
Right.
weight at that point.
So
yeah, because it's not about how much food you actually eat. It's about how many calories that food contains.
and how much you're burning.
Right.
And I mean, in a survival situation, some of these survival situations, you'll be working a lot more, so you're burning more calories. Some of them, like if you watch Naked and Afraid, you know a good portion of your day will be spent like sitting around doing nothing, conserving calories.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's a great myth that you'll be busting your ass 24/7 in a survival situation. One, it depends on the survival situation. Two, it'll be like peaks and valleys. There'll be moments of like intense physical demand, and there'll be times when you're just sitting around conserving energy because there's something to do. So, like I said, you take stock of everything you have, and then you figure out how many days you have. Generally, and if you buy what you eat and you store what you eat, you can kind of know like Mondays I eat rice and beans and a meat, and so you have like dehydrated, freeze-dried meat, or you have Spam, you have a canned meat, you have something. You can kind of pair up those to be like, oh, this, and that's a meal. This, and if you have like 30 of those, you have 30 days of that meal prepared.
Did you know one saltine cracker is 42 calories?
Possibly. I know. You know what, Mike? You like crazy diets. You should give the military diet a try.
I saw a video about the lose 10 pounds in
like 3 days. Was it by Will Tennyson? I've seen a bunch of people do it.
I'm not sure who posted the video, but yeah, it was like 3 days, lose 10 pounds.
Yeah, it looks miserable. I mean, I'm sure I can do it because I've not eaten for 3 days.
There's eggs and whole wheat toast on that diet.
Yeah, and just garbage. Takes off your preps. So you also see what you're lacking, not just food wise, but you can be like, well, these are the things I should have for survival, and I don't have these things. So you can check by category. Like, do you have enough flashlights? Do you have enough batteries to power those flashlights? Do you have a way to recharge those batteries? And what tiers? Like, so I like to have lithium batteries for like one-time use, kind of, and then rechargeable batteries. So like if you're doing something and you want to make sure that your batteries are good to go, then you pop in your lithiums. It's like your everyday use, you use your rechargeables, so you're recharging your rechargeables, especially in things like high wear and tear, remotes, kids game controllers, rechargeables. You're going out at night and checking a loud noise you heard, lithiums. So take stock of your preps, see what your holes are, and test some of your preps. You know, like if you've got a knife and you've never used it, or anything, you have a prep and you've never used it, you don't know that it works.
So when you actually need it, you're not going to know what the fuck to do with it or how to even use it.
Right. So just that, and then just knowing its quality. Like I went to a gun show one time and I saw a Marine K-bar for $25, and I was like, I've never seen a Marine K-bar for under $60. It's a knife. It's the Marine knife that everyone knows, like with the stacked rings on it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure your dad had like one, or I've seen one somewhere associated
he
with
didn't
you.
have any of that military shit.
He used one once to kill Charlie. I never saw one for less than $60. So when I saw $25, like just sort of gut reflex, like the money was out of my hand before I really considered it. And then I got to look at it. It said made in China. And I was like, oh, fuck me. At that point, I developed a hatred for this knife. I hated it. I wanted no part of it. It's not a K-bar. It's a China bar. So I went out in the woods testing it with the whole purpose of just breaking it. Like I went out there.
I remember this.
I went out there and tried batoning with like a fell down tree. Like I was trying to just snap this knife in half. And I beat on it for days. Like I just beat the shit out of this knife. Took everything I had and stayed sharp. I'm blown away. Best $25 I spent on a knife ever. So
So his tip is, if you really want to test something out, hate it.
yeah, just beat the crap out of it.
Try to fucking destroy it. And if you can destroy
Well, the next point was test your preps. We just talked about that. Test your preps. All of them. Make sure they work. Make sure how well they work. Like I bought a. Did I overspend? Like I underspent on that knife. I overspent on this like fold out like solar charger.
you had a solar charger?
I still have a solar charger.
Yeah.
It's small though. It's like this big or so. Like you fold it out into 3 parts. You're supposed to be able to like strap it on your backpack or put it up at your base camp and charge your cell phone and stuff, right? This was years ago when cell phones required much less power. And I spent, man, probably $60 on it.
Now, if you have solar panels that are only like that,
It does also work like a power bank. So you can charge it so that it has a full charge and the sunlight can kind of trickle charge it.
if you have
works.
to charge your solar powered bank with like plugging it in,
Well, because then at that point, you just have like a power bank. So you have a power bank that might possibly charge itself. Like it does charge. It really does. It's just kind of slow and inefficient, but that's solar panels for you. I'm sure by now, because this was 10 years ago, I'm sure now there's some more efficient ones, and there's better ones. I've seen better like fold out ones. Test your preps to make sure they work and how well they work.
solar energy is not spread out nearly as far as it should be by now. And you know why that is?
It sucks.
It proliferated before it was efficient. They got this idea like, oh, we could charge stuff with solar, so they tried to push it out, and then everybody realized how sucky it was. Before they made it efficient.
You know how old photovoltaic technology is?
Huh.
Like, you want to shoot a guess?
The Egyptians.
Possibly. Don't. It was aliens. No,
No, they found like shit in fucking like.
I think it was like the late 1800s, to be honest, or early 1900s. The jars, the jars that possibly were like electrical batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was thinking of. I just couldn't remember how old they were.
Yeah.
I know they found honey in like Egyptian tombs that was still edible, because it's just one food that doesn't expire. As long as it doesn't get contaminated, it's still edible hundreds of years later.
Rotate things out. So when you're assessing your preps, check for expired stuff. We all know the expiration dates are kind of iffy at the best. But, like I have a can of beans that's probably 10 years expired. Me and Mike are going to eat them on air, obviously.
Obviously. And incidentally, my dad, when he was in Vietnam, was eating sea rations left over from the Korean War.
Yeah. Yeah. MRE Steve, 1982. I've seen this dude eat World War I rations.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And maybe he's got food poisoning twice. Which you're like, oh, he's got food poisoning twice. No. He's only got food poisoning twice. That's impressive. I've seen him eat some stuff.
It's amazing.
Whoa, no. Hold on. I have one better for you. I saw him eat Civil War rations.
Civil War rations.
He scraped off a piece of, I think, hardtack and ate it.
Oh my God.
Yes. So we're talking like what, 100-something-year-old food?
Yes, it's well over 100 years at this point.
Yeah.
Civil War was like the 18.
Yeah, that's Civil War.
1880s.
That's Civil War
like
1.0, not Civil War 2.0.
Yeah. The original one, the blue and the gray.
Right.
Not the one that's still trying to happen.
Right. The blue and the red.
The
black and the red or something. Who knows? The black and the blue. Who knows?
We're all black and blue at this point. But no, I mean, it's amazing what your body can actually ingest, especially if it's been trained to. I mean, I saw a video years ago, this guy who basically let food rot and then was like, had trained his body to just like eat all this rotten food. I mean, shit that had mold on it, shit that he kept in jars, not refrigerated.
Right.
And it was just whatever. I mean, it's amazing what you could survive through, and it's amazing what your body can actually use. I mean, think about it. You could technically eat leather.
Yeah.
if you do the right stuff to it.
Let's see. Mike, give me your best British Jon Snow accent and tell me winter is coming.
Aye, governor, winter's coming.
And he's never seen Game of Thrones, so yeah, winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
That's better.
Okay.
So there's a lot of your. So if you think about it, not just from National Preparedness Month, but from a fall heading into winter season, there's winter preps you need to start thinking of, and it depends on where you're at too. If you live in Wisconsin, you should be putting up tons of firewood or preparing for a cold winter.
Your winter preps are going to be different whether you live in Phoenix, Arizona, or Juneau, Alaska.
Yes. Whereas in Tennessee,
our winters are so fucking unpredictable.
I use a rain barrel 99% of the winter. That's how warm it stays. We get several cold days. We get several really cold days.
Oh yeah. Occasionally we'll have a fucking
week-long ice storm.
Remember Ice-mageddon?
Yeah.
No, occasionally we'll have like big ice storms. Occasionally we'll have huge snow. And some winters we don't see a flake of shit.
No. So definitely think about getting your winter prep squared away now. It's a good time for it. So winter is coming. Oh yeah, I remember Snow Dome.
Oh god, a few years ago we had this geological event that everybody nicknamed the Snow Dome. Like all the states that completely surrounded Tennessee were getting like several feet of snow, but not us. It was just like the warm air and the cool air, or someone was forming this giant bubble that just kept everything out.
Yeah. Let's see. Can something. You know, if you had a good summer, if you had a good growing season, it's time to put up some of that food.
I don't like the term canning because most canning I've ever seen has been done in jars.
Right.
It should be jarring.
That's too jarring.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And it's always been called canning. I really want to I want to get out the pressure canner and do some canned meats for the winter. Canned meats is not terribly overpriced right now. It may be getting really overpriced.
Is it deer season yet?
No, it's squirrel season. You want to go hunt a squirrel?
No.
Okay. Maybe there's a like special deer season coming up. Archery season starts soon. There's a squirrel in that tree right there. There's two squirrels.
Okay, that tree.
Yeah.
You just point in that tree right there. There's like a fucking 1,000 trees over there.
Yeah. Then put up something. You'll be happy you did. It's a good skill to learn. It's one of those things like if you didn't grow up canning, you're not really exposed to a lot of canning. Like it seems like magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can put stuff in hot water and it just doesn't need the refrigerator. You want to make sure like you learn. And there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of people that like are kind of going against the FDA. Like our ancestors canned stuff without the FDA.
It didn't exist back then.
Didn't exist. And pressure canners aren't that old. People canned meat before the FDA said you couldn't can meat unless it was in a pressure canner. I'm not advocating. Don't listen to me. Maybe look up Rebel canners and see where that goes for you. But you know what? Like I canned like 10 pounds of ground beef one time. And when you can meat, like you're never going to pop it out and have like a juicy hamburger or a steak. It does make delicious, say like barbecue, stew meat, or with ground meat. It makes stews, and I used it for chili. So, it's like 2 pounds of chili or 2 pounds of ground beef per can. The recipe for chili calls for like 2 pounds of ground beef. You just open the can from your shelf, pour it in, and it makes delicious chili, and you don't need refrigeration.
I tell you though, if you ever do want to ask humanity why, look up that picture of that canned hamburger.
I'd eat that, dude. If you send me a canned hamburger, me and Mike will eat that.
No, we'd eat it, but it just looks so gooey on the bottom. Jeff Radke from the Lost Skills, he recently reposted that on his Instagram.
Yeah.
Does he still do that podcast?
He's trying to get back into it. I'm trying to.
Well, stay tuned for the Lost Skills podcast.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get him back on to talk about deer hunting. Maybe I'll get.
Yeah, I'd love Radke back on here.
Maybe I'll get my buddy Scav on to talk.
He's the
about
whole
deer
reason
hunting.
that we still say "use guys" at the end of every podcast.
Yeah. Two more things. So we talked about. I didn't talk about it. So it's a good time to plan a mock bug out and or just take a camping trip with your family. Like my wife keeps trying to get me to go camping with her, and I'm always like, not in the middle of summer when it's like 80 degrees at night still. Like it's hot, it's sweaty, it's gross, there's bugs. I don't want to do it.
Don't get the two confused.
You go in
though.
fall and you go in like early spring. Like
there's camping and there's camping.
And so whatever, like
don't go glamping. We're not talking about glamping here.
Frozen dish soap cleaning hack. You might be interested. So it's a good time to test your preps and just get out in the woods, like with your family or yourself. So
or go glamping and just take this stuff with you to try it out.
Right, just get out in the woods and have some
Might
fun.
as well be comfortable while you still can.
Right. So let's. I'm going to read this to you because I'm not good at memorizing scripts.
Ha 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 ha.
Hold that up where they can see the logo there. Today's episode is brought to you by Element. Healthy hydration isn't just about drinking water, it's about water plus electrolytes. It makes sense. You lose both water and sodium when you sweat. Both need to be replaced to prevent muscle cramps, headaches, and energy dips. Most people only replace water. Why? Because since 1940s, we've been told to drink 8 glasses of water per day, thirsty or not. Drinking beyond that is a bad idea. It dilutes blood electrolyte levels, especially sodium, and we all know the war on sodium, which leads to headaches, low energy, cramps, confusion, or worse. This low sodium situation, called hyponatremia, is a super common among endurance athletes. The solution isn't to stop drinking water, though. It's to drink water plus electrolytes. Enter Drink Element. Just mix a flavorful electrolyte drink mix into your water bottle and you're good to go. No sugar or artificial junk, just electrolytes and great taste. Element has your electrolyte needs covered. Former research biochemists Rob Wolf and Keto Gains founder Tyler Cartwright and Louis
Pasteur
Villasnor formulated Element to provide the optimal ratios of sodium, potassium, and magnesium for health, performance, and energy. They also formulated Element to please your palate. Try orange salt, citrus salt, my favorite, or experimental 5 other flavors. The newest is watermelon salt, a classic flavor combo. The watermelon salt is delicious.
if you're not allergic to watermelon.
And it's not real watermelon. Element came up with a fantastic offer for us. Just go to drinkelement.com/survivalpunk, and the link will be in the show notes, and use promo code, no promo code. Just go to that drinkelement.com/survivalpunk.
That's Element, LMNT.
And you'll get a free sample pack with every order. So you order anything from Drink Element, from Element, and you get a sample pack of, there's a lot of flavors in there. There's like maybe all 5 flavors. You get all 5 flavors. And you help support Survival Punk. If Element doesn't exceed your expectations, they offer a no questions asked refund policy. You don't even have to send it back. As preppers, we know the importance of hydration. The number 1 killer in the world is dehydration. Usually from extreme diarrhea from drinking bad water.
And did you know that the vast majority of people are dehydrated and don't even realize it?
Right.
You're dehydrated right now, probably.
Yeah, I'm on my second element of the day, so I'm well hydrated.
That's not something he has to worry about.
I drink a lot.
We took a 3-hour car trip, and he stopped 4 times to go pee. And each time he came out with a giant drink.
Yes, I'm very thirsty. We went to a 100-degree park one time, and Mike peed one time because I told him he needed to go pee.
I was drinking all day.
Yeah.
I was drinking constantly, but it was all coming out my pores.
It was all straight whiskey. And on that terrible disappointment, This has been James from SmilePunk.com.
And this has been Couch Potato Mike. Just reminding you guys about the time the two guys walked into a bar. You think the second one would have ducked.
DIY survive, use guys.
Yes, guys!
Yes, I would like to stop streaming. Oh, good episode.